Hey everybody, it's your boy Priority Ghost back here with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the 2020 preseason changes that they're going to be making for Season 10. I personally am super excited about them. I got a couple people joining me today. I got Garrett again, aka Thrice Frozen, and my boy Archie, graduated Cylinder is how is
Cylinder. It's
Cylinder.
French.
He doesn't have the R at the end of cylinder because it didn't fit, so that's what it is.
No,
Um,
it's because I'm French.
Okay, whatever. Today we're going to go over these preseason changes here. We're not going to touch on everything. We're going to touch on the big points and stuff and what we think this is going to bring to the game. Like I said, I'm personally really excited about it. I think both these guys are as well. So let's just dive right into this here, starting out with the Elemental Rift. If you haven't read this yet, I'll post a link in the description as well. Basically, what the starting out with the Elemental Rift is, the new dragon system has changed. So now after the third dragon sets up the elemental rift. So if you get an infernal spawn, ocean spawn, cloud, or mountain, the rift is going to change a little bit. It's changing mostly in the jungle and around the dragon pit. There's little images here, so you see by the red buff camp for the infernal that a part of the land gets scorched, and it changes that whole area. For the ocean, you get extra brushes. For the cloud, I think this is going to be the most impactful. You get these currents, it looks like, that make your transition in the jungle a little bit faster. And then mountain,
Speed boost.
exactly. And then mountain has a couple of these rocks here added into it, as you can see right here in between the Krug and that side wall, as well as in the entrance. Um, with this change, I think it's going to bring a lot of diversity into the game. The biggest thing, like I was saying, for this, the one I think is most impactful is this cloud one. Say you have that early push in your mid lane and you're going to rotate to bot lane. It's going to give you faster rotation. Say you're pushing that bot lane while the other team's mid lane, they now have a faster rotation to you. So you're going to have to keep an eye out for that if you get that spawn, because they might all of a sudden have a 5-man there, or you might have a 5-man there that the other team's not expecting. What do you guys think about these elemental rift changes? Which one do you think is going to be most impactful, or which one do you think has the best change to it?
Garrett, I mean, Garrett, do you want to go first, or do you want me to
You
go
can go
before you?
first. You jungle more than me.
Okay, so I find all of these really freaking annoying. all four of them, I'm really thinking about it, and they're just all really annoying. Just because of the fact that, one, I don't know what the third dragon's going to be. So now it's going to, like, affect, for me personally, I think it's going to affect my champion pool, because now I have to play a champion that's going to be able to adapt to any one of the four risks. Like, I need someone that's going to be able to rotate quickly with my team, with Cloud Rift. I need someone that can work through the jungle and not get spotted like Rengar or Kha'Zix with the Ocean Rift. But Infernal, like, I need someone that can, like, move quickly through the jungle and utilize those points so I can set up, like, surprise attacks on the enemy jungler when I'm
With less brushes to hide it.
with less brushes. Thank you. So it's like, I don't know. Most impactful, I think, will be the Ocean Rift. I think it's gonna if that Ocean Rift's going to force teams to prioritize vision more. But I also do agree with you with Cloud Rift, just because rotations are just gonna be a lot quicker. I don't really think Infernal or Mountainous are going to make that much of an impact with either close quarters or more quicker routes through the jungle, like team fight wise in there. Or team fight wise, yes, but overall, I think they really only affect the junglers, and that really just affects pathing and really just strategy overall.
Good
Yeah, we
points.
take a look at the Infernal Rift. It doesn't change much. It just, the buff area gets scorched and you lose some brushes. That makes getting vision coverage easier, makes hiding harder. So that's about it. Ocean Rift, I definitely see as annoying because your vision score now has to be insanely high. And even if it is insanely high, there are choke points and dead zones you won't be able to cover. Cloud Rift, definitely annoying. Easy rotations. You think you have time when you don't. I think Mountainous will be the least impactful. It's just more terrain to navigate. And if you have a Kiana ult, she could whiff it and hit one of the little ones instead of an actual big wall.
Yeah, that would be very sad or funny to watch,
It
depending on
does
what
help
team you're on.
Talon with his
Talon's just
parkour,
jumping all
though.
over the place, dude. You're never catching Talon anymore.
No.
Alrighty, so let's move on here. We talked a little bit of the Elemental Rift. Let's talk about the new buffs that are coming with these, right? So Infernal Might, Ocean Will, Cloud Bringer's Grace, and Mountain Vigor. Vigor, sorry. Basically, Infernal and Ocean are not changed very much, but Cloud and Mountain got huge changes. I think the Cloud change is going to be the most important here. Once again, so Infernal, you still get the percentage increase of attack damage or AP. Ocean, you get percentage of missing health every second, which is those are basically the exact same buffs. The Cloudbringer, you now gain cooldown reduction for your ultimate ability, which is absolutely huge. That changes the game for pretty much any champion. Like, getting that is ridiculous, because your ultimate, your strongest ability, everything like that. Why would you not want more cooldown on it, as well as getting 40% CDR, which most champions strive for anyway? This just makes cooldowns even greater. And then the Mountain is gain a percentage increase of armor and magic resist. I think that's really big, especially with some of the changes we'll talk about later with keystones and stuff. Bringing more of a tankiness to the Rift, bringing tanks more possibly back into the meta, which is something that I personally love, because I don't like the one-shot assassin meta that we've been in for a while now. This brings a little bit more of a teamfight diversity back to the game, I feel like. With these buffs, they do still stack, as well as once, like I was saying earlier, the third Drake now determines what the rest of the Drake spawns are going to be for the game, right? So say you get a Mountain Drake as your third Drake. Well, now, until a team kills 4 dragons, you have Mountain Drakes the rest of the game. Doesn't matter what happened before it, doesn't matter what's happening after it, you're going to get Mountain Drakes for the rest of the game. And I really do like this change. I think it brings a lot less of that RNG into it, as to, well, this team got 2 Infernals to start out, and then we just got Cloud Drakes the rest of the game. You'd never have a chance to come back with that or anything like that. This means that, hey, no matter what, you have a chance to go and get that same buff that's spawning the rest of the game now. With that, though, they're adding these Dragon Souls to the game. Basically, it's just another buff to the dragon buffs to begin with. So for the Infernal, it's every 3 seconds your next attack or damaging spell creates a small AoE explosion. I think that's going to be really cool and fun to watch. Ocean, your resource regeneration for 3 seconds. After dealing damage, it's a stronger regeneration. Cloud is not only your ultimate, but hitting any damage to an enemy gives you base ability cooldown. And then Mountain, after not taking damage for 5 seconds, gain a shield that will last until destroyed. The shield magnitude scales with bonus attack damage and ability power and health. So like I was saying, bringing tanks a little bit more back into the meta. Those souls stay the rest of the game, even if you die. What do you guys think about these souls, and where does this power lead, and what does this lend to towards a meta?
Well, if we're just looking at Infernal Dragon, definitely helps team fight. Ocean Dragon definitely helps team fight. Cloud Dragon, that helps all of your split pushers, or really anyone. Mountain Dragon, everyone gets a Malphite passive. Considering it scales with bonus adaptive damage and health, Vladimir's going to get double the scaling, much like any other the tanks are. I think that definitely benefits Vladimir the most, though, with Mountain.
I'd agree with that. Archie, what are your thoughts?
I really have nothing more else or anything else to add on to you guys. I pretty much agree with everything you guys say. The only really big thing is, like, as a jungler, before these changes, it was always feel bad, just because, like, for me, jungling, just because, like, jungling was never fun after season 7, I think.
So
and
when they made the elemental changes?
Yeah, because you would roll, like, sometimes you would roll like 3 dragons in a row, and it's like, wow, this feels really bad. And, like, you don't want to prioritize it, but, like, you can't get the elder unless you take it, or you can't find out what the next dragon is until you take it. So you're forced to take it just because you needed it gone so you can get something better. And sometimes it would never be better. But now there's going to be so much priority to get it, and now it's just like, I don't know, just like that one little change just made it. It's like a little quality of life for
I
me.
feel like all these elements now too provide something good. Like before, the Cloud Drake was just movement speed. Nobody cared about
Oh,
movement speed.
Cloud Drake was the meme. It is now the
It
queen.
was, yeah, absolutely. Like literally, all these buffs are good now. All these bonuses are good. There's no reason not to take one of these Drakes, right? And
I
as well
liked the
as,
mountain we have now. I still like mountain that we get. It makes more sense.
I completely agree. And then going to that Elder Dragon, like Archie was just talking about here, the whole dragon system's changed now. Elder doesn't spawn until a dragon soul has been claimed. So Elder might not be spawning until a 50, 60-minute point at this point if teams are just trading dragon, trading dragon, trading dragon. Because you have to get the soul, which means one team has to kill 4 dragons. Instead of it just spawning at 35 minutes. As well as they changed Elder Dragon to this, once you kill it, it's this super execute late game. You get Elder, you basically win the game off of this. So it's putting that priority onto making sure the other team doesn't get a free Elder Drake or stuff like that, whereas some people have been, prioritizing Baron more, prioritizing turrets more. Well, now this literally can just end the game. This new Elder immortalization, because it's literally an execute that you can't dodge unless you have Azonias or a Kindred ult or something that's a stasis that makes you invulnerable. I wonder if this would work with like Fizz and stuff though that have those in the untargetable. What do you guys?
I think it would.
Okay.
The best
Yeah.
change about this, it doesn't matter if you're head or behind. Elder buff is Elder buff. Does not stack the previous buffs. Way to get back in the game. Way to just completely demolish whoever you're ahead of.
Mm-hmm. I like that it's also a short-term combat buff, which means, hey, they got Elder. Literally, don't fight them for the next 2 minutes unless it's at our Nexus, right?
Yep.
So say it's the team that's super far behind, and you still have inner turrets up and stuff like that. You're literally like, okay, you can have our inner turrets. Okay, you can have our inhib turrets. We're not gonna fight you until it's absolutely necessary, or this buff expires. One of the two.
And that could just lead to take Elder. If they didn't take Baron, we'll just go take Baron too. Then push to win.
Yeah, that would definitely lead to more of that. But like I was saying though, this Elder buff might not be till 50, 60 minutes in the game. Or it could be at 35 minutes still because the team just stomps you and gets every dragon in the game. The next thing is these side lane alcoves and brushes. I want to talk with Archie a little bit more about this since he is the jungler. He does a lot of does the ganks, jungle pathing, everything like this. These changes add some more diversity into gank paths and stuff like that, as well as more places to ward, and these new brushes help out with, invades and everything like that. My personal opinion on these alcoves is that they're bad for the game, especially on the top lane side, right? Your top laner now has to prioritize warding this, or he's going to get lane ganked every time.
And there's no reward for doing anything with the alcove. It is just there to make your day even worse.
Yeah, so what if they did do something with this alcove, right? Like, come actual season, what if they put, like, a minion or something in here, or a little buff or something in here that makes it worth fighting over, worth trying to control, to help out the laner for the next minute and a half, 2 minutes, kind of like a red buff or a blue buff type thing?
Okay, let me tell you why that's never going to happen. It's just because it complicates lane a little too much, and it's going to scare away players. That's the only. I agree with you. In a perfect world, they would add some sort of incentive where, like, you can fight for your control of lane and like you get to control that. But I think from Riot's point of view, when they were making it, I feel like they probably did consider that, but they also considered the fact that it would probably add way too much more complexity and more priority to the side lanes than they would have rather preferred it to have been, and that's why they chose not to do it.
Yeah,
Alright, so throw a regen globe up there, just
Yeah.
like we have our regen plants.
So-
Something that
going
makes
with
it
what you're
worth
saying,
going
though.
into.
Going with what you're saying though, Archie, right, is if you're a top laner now, how do you ward? You get 2, maybe 3 wards depending on your timing, right? and you're on red side. So you have to ward Tribrush, you have to ward River, and you have to ward this. It's not possible. You don't have the wards for it. Unless a jungler comes and
Okay.
helps you. If
Okay,
you're
so
bot
taking
lane,
that.
you now have to ward this in case they're playing a hook champion. Imagine a Blitzcrank being in that alcove right there. You can't see him. You push up past mid wave, you're just dead. Because he can come on either side of this and grab you. He can come flash over it and grab you. Like, this alcove, I think, is just bad for the game.
Okay, so the scenarios. Okay, I want to just the top lane scenario first about being on the red side, having to ward. Okay, I think then from red side, then early game, them push. You let them push. You let your jungler gank. You and you just repeat, wash and repeat over and over again for a top lane because at that point you already know you can't go past the alcove because enemy jungler is probably going to be there. You have to ward Tribrush because if you push forward and you don't, then the enemy jungler would be more than willing to just go all the way around through your Tribrush to gank you, and obviously River for its obvious reasons. But I think that's the only way at the moment, unless you you start buying control words, more often is that's it. Unless you're able to put a control word over there and be able to put in the if you this if you guys look at the picture, where the torches are, if you're able to throw a control word near that topish area, somewhere where and control your enemy laner from walking in there to destroy it, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Doing that wise, as chasing with the hook champions, for the bot lane, I don't because being a jungle support man, I really don't have a problem with wards wise. Just because me as a support player, every time I go back, I'm buying at least 2 to 3 control wards already. So and with the changes with the support items, which we'll talk about later, I really don't think warding is going to be a problem. I think the big problem here with the output is going to be top lane, and at that point, it's either you sacrifice being ahead or where you are for safety and for counterplay, or you were able to get that control word up there and manage your enemy top laner from destroying. And if it gets destroyed, that's fine. 75 gold. It's too many. So that's just my opinion on those. But you bring up the bushes that they added to the other side of the wall from where Grumps are on both blue and red side.
Mm-hmm.
I think that puts way more priority in early game innovating and early game fighting. I think this is probably going to make some junglers have wet dreams just because it's another, especially for Rengar and stuff. You can be a Rengar at level 1 and have the support on your team or someone put a ward on the other side so you have vision of your enemy jungler doing wrong. And I mean, I would have to look actually see it in game, but I'm pretty sure Rengar's jump
Can jump that
reaches Gromp from that. And even so, even if you walk out of the brush, you still have that 1 to 1.5 second time limit to get that jump off before it goes away, and it's still enough time for you to get over there.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be some junglers' wet dream.
I just know for a fact that there's going to be teams that invade, and there's going to be a 5-man camping in that brush, and your invade's going to get stomped, and that's going to be funny to watch.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, so let's move on a little bit here. Let's talk about some of the XP changes that they made to jungle and in lanes. XP change and gold for the jungle is now even on both sides. Krugs had been the most dominant camp throughout this entire Season 9, and with Gromp being kind of the counter to that, it never had the same XP or gold value. Basically what they did is they made it so it's even, which I really like that change. It takes away you have to take Krugs, and nobody would take Krugs for some reason. Now you have the option to take Gromp or Krugs and still hit that level 3 mark and gank, which I think is huge for it, as well as they're changing lane XP to where solo laners now get more XP, bot lane has a little bit less XP, and the sharing, or how did they word it? It's the bot lane levels, we're reducing the amount of bonus XP generated for sharing allies. So basically they're taking away, because you used to be able to keep level as an ADC and support while sharing XP. They're basically lowering that so you're not going to be one level or the same level as your top laner and mid laner, which I think is a really big change, and it gives top lane as well as mid lane a little bit higher chance to carry a game and gives them a reason to kind of prioritize winning the lane a little bit more because they actually have a chance to carry it. Like top lane has been in a rough spot trying to carry games after they stomp their lane. All of a sudden, mid lane, the other mid lane's ahead, or bot lane's the same level as them, even though they just won their lane, and it's just made it really hard for them to carry games. That's basically all for the XP. Don't really have to talk too much about that, in my opinion. Archie was talking about the support items. Both these guys with me are support mains as well as some jungle. So these two, I'm gonna let these two kind of touch on this.
Wait, hold on. Put some respect on me and Garrett's names, dude. We play everything.
You guys do play everything.
Put some respect on our names.
You guys do play everything, but you're more support jungle main and jungle support main, as you guys have been. So I want to let you guys kind of touch on these support items because this is a big change for you guys and give your guys' opinion on it a little bit.
Wait, we skipped to the support items already? We're just talking about jungle path diversity?
It was just the XP changes. That's all it is.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. Yeah, we can talk about support items.
This is the big thing. Let's talk about these here. I'll let you guys go ahead, though.
I can't wait to play support this season. Thank God I don't have to spend money on that fucking shitty ass starter item anymore. And the balances, the Targons, thank God. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So what the changes are right now is that starter items for supports are no longer have to be bought, and they are upgraded through the quest progression that they have now in the game. Tiers 1, which is starting stats and gold generation passive. Tier 2, which is stats improved, 3 wards added. And in Tier 3, major stats upgrade, full ward capacity, and gold generation passive removed. And instead of having to spend 1,500 gold on my first starter item, I can now spend the 1,500 gold on items that will be more beneficial to my team, like control wards or convergence or things that my team need because my ADC, for some reason, won't like dodge a skill shot. He's going to need Mikhail's. That's still in the game. I haven't played it in a while. But I'm granted, like, they won't carry a stats with, but God forbid, like, I'll take the stat reduction for not having to spend 50 gold. That's like a BF sword and what? Help me out here. What's 200 gold? Like 4 potions.
It's a
Wards,
BF sword.
potions.
It's a BF sword, ward, and potions, basically.
Yep.
Like, yeah, and then so the 4 starting item options are high AD, low HP, and high AD or high AP, low HP with spell thieves, and then low AD and low AP with high HP with Targon's passive, with coin being completely. I think that was a great balance change. Coin was stupid already, and the biggest thing now is finally, as a range champion, execute the Targon
can
passive.
finally proc Targons effectively without having to worry about missing the minion.
If I received $5 every time I missed a minion with Targons as Thresh, I would be a millionaire.
Yeah,
and now it'll never happen. It will happen again, but it's a lot easier to do it now.
Yeah, I agree.
There's less stress on supports to have to like time their attacks because it's not gonna be hard. It's not gonna be hard. What do you think, Garrett?
I like it. You buy your starting item, you upgrade it with whatever quest system is going to be, probably like the one they have now. So instead of getting the upgraded, all the other passives and buffs, you're not going to get your stats. You do, however, get to spend that money on the stat you're going to lane against or whoever you're worried about instead of just trying to go for that mana regen and health or AP. I like it. The only thing I don't like is when you get to tier 3, your gold generation passive is removed.
That's what I was just about to ask you guys, is not having
the
that gold
supports
generation.
Don't get gold at all unless they're getting support kills
or assists.
Or they're
Well, then that just gonna like prompt and like make roaming more viable, or more warranted, I guess is a way we could say that. Like now, as a support, okay, where am I going to get my gold? Oh, I want to go mid lane and I'm going to roam. Oh, I'm going to go top lane and roam. I don't know. I think it just adds more like play to support than like having to spend the first
15 minutes babysitting your
babysitting.
ADC.
Well,
Yeah,
that
I think.
and the XP changes for double lane. You want to get your ADC ahead a bit, so you are going to roam a little bit. I still don't like missing golds because they even further punish that by adding the poaching rule. Where if
Yeah.
you're
Oh yeah.
farming
Okay.
minions, you're getting less gold from the minions, even if no one else is there to farm them for you.
So those moments where you're in mid lane because your team hard reset and you were getting wards and you realize there's a little bit of a wave to get, now you're not even getting a lot of that gold even.
Yeah, so it's just hurting supports and just the gold. But I don't know, they could not remove it. They could just lower it, like half the gold generation. Because at that point, you don't need the full 50 gold from a coin. You could just get the 25 gold again because you are getting team fights and you're getting assist gold and other things like that. Completely removing the passive gold generation, though, hurts.
And that's one thing too, though, is like this is the preseason like rundown. This isn't even the patch yet, so there's still gonna be changes and stuff to this. That might be a change they end up realizing they have to do, because supports aren't gonna be getting a lot of gold.
Yep.
Okay.
Then ports are already the lowest gold people in game.
Yes, they are. Okay, really quick, lethality items, I don't really want to touch on this too much because there's been some changes to it. The big one, in my opinion, is this Edge of Night change where it's now basically a Banshee's Veil passive instead of having to activate it. And there's going to be a new item. I don't want to touch too much on it, though, because we don't know a lot about it yet, so there's a lot of speculation and stuff that we could do. But I kind of want to wait and see what they give us before we really talk about it, because we could be completely wrong or we could be right. I'd rather wait till we see exactly what it is and how we think it's gonna impact the game. Like I said, Duskblade, Ghostblade, mostly the same. Edge of Night now has a Banshee's passive instead of having to activate it, which is going to be huge.
And we may see a few other ones popping up.
Yeah, and there might be a couple more that they haven't unveiled yet, but we'll talk more about those when we actually get a little bit more information about it. Other item changes is Spear Sojourn is getting removed. Basically, you don't need it because Cloud Drake is now a thing with ultimate cooldown and ability cooldown, so you better hope you get Cloud Drake. What I really want to see from this, though, is we need to see some MR item changes really badly, and I'm really hoping they bring those in with the preseason. They haven't talked about it yet, but that needs to happen. The MR items are so bad right now. Quickly moving on, then, we'll talk about the Keystones. I think this is going to be one of the biggest changes in this, is changing a couple of these Keystones, especially Conqueror and Kleptomancy. Taking away the true damage from Conqueror and making it adaptive force, I think is huge because there's so much true damage in the game right now. It makes tanks almost unplayable, especially when you can just run Conqueror into them and do true damage. Like, it's just not a fun thing to do. So this, I think, as well as the Aftershock changes, which I'll talk about in a second, is going to kind of bring a tanky meta back into it, as well as with the
or
other
at least
changes.
make it more playable.
Absolutely. And with the other changes to the Rift, I think tanks are going to become more viable due to it being more of a team fight early game meta that I think is going to come out of this. The other big change is Klepto. You're no longer farming as much gold. You're getting more of these elixirs, which I think is a really good change because, one, you could play Kennen and get super lucky and get a bunch of gold, sacks of gold super early, and all of a sudden you're so far ahead of your lane opponent that it doesn't matter because MR items are so good, or MR items are so bad, AP items are so gold efficient, it just, you run away with the game with it. So I think that that's a huge change for Klepto, and I really do like it. And then Aftershock, they're taking away the, they're basically making it so Lux with Aftershock is no longer a thing. Thank God. And they're giving it power to the tanks with it, which I think is going to be huge, giving more tanky stats to the game, as well as taking away some of that true damage. I think we're going to see a little bit more of a tank meta, more of a team fight meta come out of this due to these changes where Rift Herald now spawns earlier and these dragon fights are going to be huge fights and everything like that. To get that control, I think this leans more towards an early mid-game team fight meta that you're going to want a tank in somewhere, either a support, top lane, jungle. You're going to want that tank. What do you guys think?
I love the Aftershock change. Screw Rakan. Give the power back to Leona.
Yes.
Love it. I'm down for it. Make it what it should have been from the start. The squishy supports becoming tanky for no reason made no sense. Should have never happened.
That was the most tilting thing as an ADC, I can tell you. When you're playing a Lucian and you're super far ahead and you literally just can't kill a Lux because she has Aftershock. Oh my god, it made me so mad. It's like she has no base tank stats. All of a sudden she hits Aftershock and I do no damage to her even though I'm 2-item Lucian. What? Excuse me? Like that was dumb. I hated it.
Yep.
I really don't have anything to say just because I'm not really familiar with the runes. I kind of just follow whatever someone tells Blitz or like Pro Builds tells me. So I really don't have much to say, but I'm kind of excited to see what the changes do.
Okay, so one last thing really quick before we end this video is, do you guys think this is going to be... I personally think this is going to make a lot of changes to the game. I think this is going to bring back more of that Season 7 meta, where it was team fight focused, tanks, a couple tanks in there, control mage mid type thing, which I think is what a lot of people wanted. Season 7 was one of the best seasons in my opinion. I think this is fixing a lot of changes that I talked about in my video the other day as well, where it's a lot of quality of life changes coming to the game. I still want to see the actual nerfs and buffs that come to the champions, but this overall I think impacts the game in a very, very positive aspect and is gonna help bring League of Legends back to what it could have been and what they could have been doing with it these past couple years.
I like it. Changes are definitely going to be way more engaging than the one-shot assassin roaming meta that we've been stuck with.
I hate it so much. I really do.
If I learned anything from the Juggernaut update, I'm going to wait till the actual season starts.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well that's going to be it for this video. Thanks Archie and Garrett for joining me. We're going to have some more videos out as Riot releases a little bit more information, not on just this patch, but on some of the updates and stuff that they're doing for champions. The new champion, of course, being Sienna. I want to talk about her. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. Thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Later.